Every text you write must ultimately be persuasive. Even if the goal of the writing is to convey accurate information, the elements of persuasion are at work because you must convince your audience that your information is accurate and important and relevant and meaningful. Now that we have discussed the relationship between author, audience, and purpose in the rhetorical situation, I'm going to add another layer of complexity to our diagram in order for you to get the complete picture that a professional writer has in order to achieve their purpose. I'm going to review 3 magical words: ethos, logos, and pathos. Warning: understanding these terms can be dangerous. Once you learn about these ancient terms, you will have untold powers, and I hope you will choose to use these powers wisely and responsibly. These words are the secret powers behind successful writing, and these ancient Greek terms wield a power that can be used for good or for evil. First, I will define these terms, and then I will tell you a story that reveals their manipulative power. Logos. Translated, logos means reason. Although logos has a long, complicated history, for the sake of simplicity, we are going to define it as the appeal to logical reasoning. Unlike fictional stories, non-fiction texts and arguments are based on logical reasoning, or logos. Facts, research, studies, data, and/or statistics are all modern tools that writers use to build reason into their writing. Logos is the backbone of all argumentative writing, or writing that seeks to persuade through reasoning. Pathos. Pathos literally translates to suffering. Pathos refers to the emotional appeal of a text. Although pathos should play a limited role in fact-based writing and speech, there is no denying the presence of pathos in most texts. For example, if one is writing about nuclear weapons, the threat to human existence cannot be ignored. That's pathos. Pathos can make audiences feel an emotional response such as empathy, fear, patriotism, anger, or a call to action. Writers can develop the appeal of pathos through narration, anecdotes, examples, or by utilizing compelling context. Overt emotional appeals tend to undermine argumentative writing, especially for a professional or critical audience. Nevertheless, writers strive for pathos appeal or emotional resonance as they actively cultivate the feeling that the message is meaningful and important to the audience. Ethos. Translated, this term means disposition. Do you know ethos may be the most powerful appeal of all because it underpins the message by giving the claim credibility or not. Whether they admit it or not, your audience is evaluating you all the way through the message. Ultimately, the audience makes a judgment as to who you are and if you should be trusted based on your background, credentials, and delivery. Your credibility either undermines or supports your message. Therefore, one of the most powerful modes of persuasion is ethos. Who you are and how you present yourself matters. To help you remember the underlying principles of ethos, I'm going to give you 3 terms: credibility, credentials, and clout. Credibility. Who are you? What is your background? Do you seem trustworthy? Credentials. What experience do you have? What certificates, degrees, job experience, project knowledge do you have? How credible are the sources that you reference? What research supports your claims? Clout. Do you make careless mistakes? Are there errors in your sentences, words, facts, quotes? How do you present yourself? Now it's time for the story. Once upon a time, during the 1940s, the head of a large U.S. tobacco company worried about declining sales. World War II had been great for tobacco sales, but as wartime ended, this wealthy executive worried that the money train was about to leave the station. To make matters worse,
Medical researchers had recently produced several studies that made the outrageous claim that cigarettes were linked to cancer. This was bad news all around. The stressed-out executive put his wingtips up on the desk and lit a cigarette. Immediately, he felt better. He reassured himself that when he smoked, he felt energized, calm, and happy. Cancer. Bah! As he gazed through his high-rise window, an idea came to him. Surely there was some way to document these obvious health benefits to reassure them. Yes, to keep them buying cigarettes. So he picked up the phone and made a few calls. Fast forward a few years, and now you are on the living room floor with your family watching a black and white television because there is no internet, eating an enchilada TV dinner. A commercial comes on showing a doctor setting down his stethoscope and reaching for his pack of cigarettes. It's 1950. He lights up. The text reads, "More doctors smoke Camels." Do you see the magical powers in that? Ads depicting medical doctors lighting up cigarettes with a reassuring nod shows the power of all three appeals to the audience working simultaneously. Logos. Doctors read medical research, so they understand the situation more than anyone else. Pathos. Doctors enjoy smoking. It feels good. Ethos. Doctors are trustworthy and they are health experts. If doctors smoke, then it must be okay. So powerful was this magic that for decades after decade, people smoked on planes, restaurants, crowded subway stations. In fact, for a period of time in many countries around the globe, a person might have had a harder time not breathing cigarette smoke, even if they didn't smoke. The dark side of rhetoric has had powerful effects on humanity. Lives have been lost, wars have been waged, and presidents have been elected. So be a force for good. Use this magic wisely. Because it does work both ways. Human beings have built persuasive arguments for good since ancient times. Persuasive writing and communication can help us change for the better. These tools are that powerful. The moral of the story? In addition to targeting the purpose of your message, consider appeals. Ethos, logos, and pathos. Understanding these concepts will help you strengthen your message. Revise your drafts with these terms in mind.
Despite their potentially manipulative powers, the magic of ethos, logos, and pathos cannot be overlooked by writers. Practice the fine art of rhetorical appeals in your writing, and you will achieve your purpose every time.